Hey, tea sippers. Let's clock that reality. Wow, tea sippers, welcome to the 10th episode of Clock the Reali-Tea. That's right, the 10th episode. This is your host, Mark Midwestern Honey, and you know I bring it to you fresh every single time. And this time, we're diving right into the secret lives of Mormon wives. Without further ado, go ahead and listen to this clip, because y'all know I have plenty to say on this, honey. Take a listen.
Production of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has reportedly been put on hold after a domestic violence incident involving Taylor Frankie Paul and her on-again, off-again ex, Dakota. Multiple reports surfaced in March confirming that an alleged dispute between the former couple occurred while cameras were rolling for Season 5. A spokesperson for the Draper City Police Department later confirmed there is an open domestic assault investigation, noting that allegations have been made by both parties and that authorities were in contact with them on February 24th and 25th. Now, this isn't the first time the pair's turbulent relationship has led to legal trouble. Taylor and Dakota began dating after her highly publicized split from her ex-husband Tate Paul, which followed her involvement in a viral soft-swinging scandal. In February of 2023, Taylor was arrested in connection to a domestic violence incident involving Dakota. She was later charged with aggravated assault and several additional counts, though she ultimately pleaded guilty to aggravated assault as part of a plea deal with the remaining charges dismissed. Now, the relationship continued to play out on screen, including multiple reconciliation attempts. However, things really appear to end for good in 2025 after Dakota allegedly sexted one of Taylor's family friends. Around that time, Taylor signed on to become the next lead of The Bachelorette, signaling a fresh start even as their complicated dynamic continued to make headlines, of course, in this season of Mormon Wives. While off-screen tensions have reportedly continued, news of the latest domestic dispute has also impacted the show's cast, with several members of MomTok, including Jen Affleck, Michaela, and Macy, said to be distancing themselves from Taylor as the investigation unfolds.
Ciao. As if I wasn't already gooped by this season already, this is what we're doing? I have so much to say about that, but first, before we jump to that, let me just give a review of how I feel about Season 4. At first, Season 4 was not giving me what it needed to give. Something was missing. I believe the Demi not filming of it all made it weird at the beginning. And then the girls started to clock in. And I started to see more story, which is what I was missing in Season 3 with this Dakota mess, which also Season 4 kicked it right off with more Dakota mess, child. I thought he was old news, but here we are recycling him in. And here's the thing. I understand that Dakota is Taylor's baby daddy, and for those who need perspective, obviously this show is about a cast of Mormon wives, if you will, from Salt Lake City. I'll get back to Dakota in a minute. And these ladies created MomTok, right? And MomTok was basically a viral TikTok thing where they all did choreography or some kind of like unison dances and kind of went viral throughout the pandemic as moms being from that area. And then also there's this swinging scandal where two of the couples that were in MomTok decided to mess around together, but it was described as swinging when in reality it was soft swinging, which got the show a lot of publicity. And obviously with them being Mormon, any form of infidelity or anything like that kind of is frowned upon. Well, it's frowned upon in general, but in this culture, if you will, it's definitely frowned upon. And these ladies took it from the reins from Season 1 through right now in terms of showing us how they navigated their fame post TikTok, and also while also still being a part of TikTok, since it's very much a part of our culture right now, while also showcasing their relationships, like their current family dynamics, the turmoil they're going through. Some of the ladies have relationships with other people. There's a lot of the ladies on the show that are already divorced and on their second or third marriage, child. And I'm saying third because Jessi, I'm rooting for you. So yeah, that's pretty much the tea on the girls. And I want to also give you a little bit more tea. So a lot of these girls are also connected to the Salt Lake City girls because some of them have dated or, you know, are married to some of the ex-husbands of some of the friends of on that show. And the gag is Salt Lake City must be small because the fact that Dakota is showing up on my screen nonstop. First of all, let me clock in because I feel like Taylor, I understand using someone for a storyline, but make him know and make the audience know that you're using him. Because, girl, right now is giving addiction, toxicity to this man who is not doing anything for you or your baby from what it looks like to me. Because if you were doing something for your baby, we wouldn't be getting all this boom, boom, cat, cat in y'all 30s. Y'all are in your 30s. And y'all are cutting up like this. Here's the thing. Let's back it up a little bit more. I feel like Taylor Frankie Paul is the star of the show. Whether people don't want to say that she is, or they have it confused. From what I remember when I first started watching Mormon Wives, Taylor was the one that pretty much kicked it off with the scandal story, and then Miranda didn't film that first season, who was also one of the ladies on the show, one of the Mom Talk ladies. And it just pretty much followed her life. She got pregnant by this guy who she met after her divorce, following the soft swinging scandal, whatever, child, the kissing other people. And then she just couldn't leave somebody's husband alone, and then it led to a divorce, child. So, there's a lot of messy dynamics. Obviously Taylor has a past. She doesn't really have a good relationship with her biological father. Her mom remarried and basically made sure they had a better life off in Utah with this new man she met. And this season kind of unfolded that with Taylor and her mom, which I appreciated because it gave me a different understanding of Taylor. And I think without that context, I would have said hang it up. I would have said hang it up. I would have said, no. I'm not watching this. But because I am the kind of person when I watch reality TV, I want to root for the person who's like bringing in the group to like really succeed and do their thing. Cool, boom, boom, boom. But here's the thing. They have to also want to exceed. They have to also want to succeed, okay? Because I shouldn't be watching the show and feeling like, Taylor, I'm rooting for you, but you're letting me down and the group and yourself and your family, child. Why is Dakota on the show? Dakota would have been packed up after season 3. When they called me and say, hey, we're going to do another season, and then my parents came to the reunion and had to read him down, and he went on here embarrassing me, sleeping with friends, sexting family members, or friends of family, whatever, child. Way too close in the circle, Dakota. You have the fame now, no shade. You can go find anybody you want. So y'all still playing around in Utah like this? I think what happens with some of these girls with their religious trauma and with their relationships in their lives and like their attachments, whatever, it comes out at full force in your adulthood if you don't take care of your business. And we're seeing it on full display because Miss Taylor has crashed out, honey. Miss Taylor has crashed out. Not only did she crash out on the show, and I'm just talking about from what I saw on season 4, the recent news with her being arrested? Child. And then not only with her being arrested, the recent news with the fact that Taylor apparently is choking Dakota. So they just can't leave each other alone. They both like the toxicity. They're both addicted to each other, probably sex, which is fine. You just got to work through it. But this is starting to become train wreck. Because I don't know why you would sign up to go on a bachelorette if you still feeding for this man and you flying other men out to come hang out with you. On the show, baby, so we can all see it. If y'all like each other, figure it out off camera. I need to see the Secret Lives Mormon Wives, because this isn't giving Secret Lives Mormon Wives no more. This is giving Messy Avenue. The Messy Avenue of Salt Lake City. Taylor. The onus is on you, my love. You're the star. I hope that this is all this tabloid stuff is just par for the course, because this is what makes this show popular when people start talking about it and that kind of thing. And I do think that because Taylor has, in my opinion, a good sense of self-awareness, knowing that has a messy life or that she's very complicated and kind of over the top, I think that kind of makes it less of a problem for me to completely not watch the show, because I will continue watching the girls. I need to see how this unfolds now. So now we're going on a bachelorette, dated 30 men, came back, still went with Dakota again, choked his ass, got DCFS called. Child, I hope y'all both go through your psychological or evaluations or your psych evals and do your thing. But most importantly, take care of y'all mental health. Y'all have to co-parent. Taylor, what's the tea? On the last episode of season 4, when she was still in bed, while her mom and sister were at the airport with her kids, flying out to meet her for the bachelorette, no ma'am. No ma'am. We not letting the man fuck up the check. And I don't know if that's something that these girls are learning later on in life, because I feel like Some of them are on their second relationships and that kind of thing, which is fine. No judgment. Do what you got to do. Find a man that makes you happy. But most importantly, make yourself happy first. Because the chick is seeming like it should be screaming louder than what you're giving, baby. Take care of your mental health. Because there's a lot of girls that are looking at you sideways, bitch. Like, all this complication when you have these opportunities. And the group has opportunities, baby. Now the group doesn't want to film with you or Dakota again. We're going to need to clock that up. Because I don't know what to say about that. It might give that there might be another girl in the cast who's going to take the reins in terms of who's going to be leading the girls. Center Diamond vibes is what I'm talking about. Center Snowflake on the Secret Life of Mormon Wives will not be given to Taylor if this mess keeps happening. I do feel like she is the star of the show. So yes, I'm talking out two sides of my ass. But we got to do better with this, babe. We got to do better. I'm rooting for you. I will take a little sneak peek at Miss Bachelorette and see what it gives. But Taylor, I want to watch that show in complete fantasy that you were finding a new man after having to deal with this deadbeat who is still running up the tabloids on your ass because you're giving him power over you, love. Don't do that. Take your power back. That's what the Bachelorette was supposed to do for you. Child, had this been Martha's Vineyard, the one that Bravo decided to cancel. Had this been that and one of those girlies got this Bachelorette opportunity, oh baby, it's over with. What ex? What baby daddy? Listen, we gotta have the self-esteem, get it together, because Miss Jessi is ready for that ass. You know she ready to take over the show. And speaking over taking over the show, a lot of them are around my age, so I feel like I can speak to this. But I kind of also want to speak to what's going on with this DadTok thing. Girl, I didn't watch the show to watch DadTok. It's very what Connor is giving, supporting his wife and her fame. I did not watch the show to watch DadTok with opportunists. No shade, but keep your job unless we move to LA like Whitney did. If I can support you, you can hold it down for me while I'm getting the bag. That's fine. But what's this DadTok about? Okay, let's get into the tea. Take a listen.
Can I get some adjectives that come to mind when you hear the word DadTok?
Gross,
Ick.
annoying, ick.
I think we heard the word ick so many times in reference to DadTok this season.
I think DadTok was really fun. I think DadTok can have positive moments when they're being good to each other, yes. But when they get in the same room when they're being toxic, no.
And it's so hard to take you seriously with your little munchkin balls.
Oh, nice, bro. You're a big guy.
I'm not gonna validate them.
Misogynistic comments that I'm like,
degrading my relationship. No, that's full.
It's the competition aspect of it. Yeah, they're determined to take Mom Talk down.
Where it's like we're coming out of their shadows. Where I'm like, again, a good husband's like, I love watching you thrive. All the way back here.
I was like, if Jordan says DadTok and stand on their own 2 feet one more time, I was like,
no one hears about DadTok.
Oh my god.
I hear the
My
word
favorite was like,
Kristen.
I'm so excited to go to the villa because it's not at the heels of what the girls did. And I was like,
It literally is.
literally at the
Like,
heels.
be
Girls
going if it
did
wasn't for the
everything.
girls.
Yeah, exactly.
Macy, I got to spend a little time with you and with Jacob when I came out to Utah to celebrate your memoir. And Jacob is so great. Like, it feels like he's really embodying this whole DadTok vibe and seeing his personality blossom on camera. What is it like seeing your husbands kind of open up, be a little warmer to the cameras, and warm up to this whole TV life?
Yeah, I think they're like, I don't know, at least Jacob still gets like nervous. I can tell even watching this show back, I'm like, your voice is a little different. Like, you can tell he's like still a little like nervous, uncomfortable, and stuff like that.
We just got back from London, and I'm honestly surprised that I had such a good time with all the guys. It's kind of making me realize that I think I need some more bro time.
Lord have mercy. Okay, let's get into it. They can hang DadTok up. Okay? Y'all can hang up DadTok. It's cute for what y'all want to do on the side. Yeah, with your babies, family, boom, 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 supporting your wives. But I'm not interested. And here's why. Do I have to go down the list? Is Jamal coming? Of course not. Because I do not like Mr. Jordan. Jessi, what is this? What is this? I feel like the dad talk thing was meant as a means to be silly and support the wives, but once you start falling out with all the ladies and you're no longer a good husband or a good partner or a good boyfriend or whatever, boom cat, hook up buddy, whatever, you're not a main star. So you can go, you can pack it up, you can be on DadTok on TikTok, but go ahead and start you a little business so you can help support the family or do what you gotta do, because if you're not staying in nobody's house or you're separated, of course this is too much for you. Jordan has one more time to get loud with Jessi in front of me. I'm just going to keep it real. Every scene with her and him, he is talking completely down to her. First of all, it seems like she runs the bill. It seems like she runs the house. It seems like she's paid. And yes, when they first got together, they both came together. She didn't have her millions worth in her business, her hair business, her salons and stuff, doing her thing. But Miss Jessi is that girl. And last time I checked, there's a lot of opportunity to get an upgrade once you start getting that fame. I'm not team breakup family, but I'm definitely team go ahead and leave Jordan ass, because he's not giving. Jessi, what happened with Marciano was last season. I'm glad y'all packed that up and didn't really beat the dead horse with that this whole season, because that would have been a no-no. But it seems like nobody likes Jordan. It seems like Jordan likes to insert himself into the mom talk business, baby, by coming for Layla, the only black girl on the cast. Don't get me started. Shut your mouth. It seems like Mr. Jordan is entitled. It seems like Mr. Jordan has figured it out that he owns half of the company, honey, if they get a divorce. It seems like Jessi doesn't want to leave Jordan because now she's like, okay, well, if he's going to get half my business anyway, might as well keep the family together. No, ma'am. No. Your happiness is better. He's not nice. I don't like the fact that when you were talking to him about you change your name back to what it needed to be for business purposes that he cut up. You can go. You're not calling me selfish on camera while I'm footing the bill. You're not. So we can go ahead and pack Jordan up. Let me move on over to Layla. I like Layla. Okay, yeah, I like Layla. Layla's coming into her own, which I appreciate. I think she's needed for the show. I was a little nervous last season with her because that's when she started to first find her voice and confront Demi and all that. Okay. But Layla's also growing up on camera because she's only in her like mid-20s, her younger 20s, and this season was a give. I mean, she was like to Mason. She was like, listen, I'm a mom. You fine and all, but you're not about to come in here and try to run me and how I tell my kids what to do. Especially when they're 2, 3, 4 in that age range. Mind your business. I am not with you so you to come in here and save me and watch my kids. She said, I don't know you like that, player. I come with trauma. I come with a divorce. I come with like a new sense of self-awareness. Don't let these cameras fool you. The check is being ran. I don't need you. And that's what Mason needed to hear. So I'm happy that she did that. I'm also happy that Layla is starting to find her voice and really start to like confront situations that make her uncomfortable. She's starting to give her opinion and not feel like she needs to shut the fuck up. Because girl, you never need to shut the fuck up. In fact, go ahead and be on Dance with the Stars. Layla needs to be next, baby. Layla needs to be next. I like her storyline of eating disorder and like working through body image stuff, modeling. Okay, Layla, you are giving me what I need to give. Season 4, like I said, was going to be a pack up, but these girls, their storylines are doing it for me. I still want to learn a little bit more about Layla. I loved her journey with her hair texture and like confronting Jessi last season and being like, hey, I changed salons, girl, because I'm black and I need my hair done right, certain way. Not saying you can't do my hair. I'm just saying I need like black stuff done. What's up? That was a need. And I can tell that was very empowering, especially coming from Utah. So Layla's doing what she needs to do. Layla's doing what she needs to do. The list goes on. I'm going to talk about all the ladies. And I can't wait to get into these other girls. Let's get into Miranda. Because Miranda is one of my favorites. Okay? When Miranda sat up on that couch and looked at Dakota and said, are you fucking for real? Basically. And then Shania, her friend over here, acting puzzled. You wanted a Kodak moment, baby. I'm gonna be your friend, but I will be cussing him out on camera. This is my show. He's getting cussed out. Cause now I'm put between a rock and a hard place, having to decide between you and Taylor. And you already know the baggage I have with Taylor. Shania, my best friend, why are you dating Dakota? In fact, why are y'all sleeping together? Miranda ate that up. Take a listen.
Sorry to hear about your breakup with Mason, and I know you kind of went full Taylor Frankie Paul when you posted that you were taking back there being no bad blood.
It was never going to be you. It was never going to be you. So for you to be so delusional and crazy like that.
What can you say about what led to your breakup?
You'll have to wait and see the reasoning behind, why he ended things and why I felt the certain way that I did, and why Michaela and all the other girls. But a lot has happened since then. That was a couple days post breakup where he was doing some things and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, it's been almost a month now since us breaking up, and we've come to more of like a cordial place, and I do wish him the best. I still feel like my feelings are valid and why I felt certain ways. And again, you guys will see that in the future. But yeah, I think ultimately when it comes down to it, I always have a place in my heart for Mason. He's a really good person.
I have to say, I don't think I've ever seen a reunion where the husbands are given so much airtime, let alone a season where I feel like DadTok is getting so involved. Do you ever feel like some of the guys, and I want to say Jordan in particular, are trying to overproduce or overshadow Mom Talk? And what do you think about all the screen time they've been getting this season?
I'm going to be frank. Yeah. I don't love it, if I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think any of us do. I think this show is so empowering for women in so many ways. And I feel like sometimes we lose sight of that a little bit when we have these toxic men open their mouths about things they shouldn't be opening their mouths about. So I hope in future, times of this experience, the men kind of learn that and just be supportive. I think ultimately that's what the people love to see from DadTok, is when they're supportive and they're good partners. We don't need to see you guys saying toxic comment about us women, because ultimately you wouldn't be on this show if it wasn't for the women. So realize that and sit down.
And it also, period. It also, just really puts a magnifying glass on the misogyny, I think, that, is definitely internalized, and I think it just surfaces it a little bit, which I think it as a whole it's I think good for them to see, because I think it forces them to really look at themselves in the mirror and hopefully figure out why they feel a certain way about certain things and where that's coming from.
The girls ate that up. That was in an interview from Decider, and listen, Miranda and Layla are really doing it for me. I was worried at first, but when they made comments about listen, this show is our show, and y'all would not have this show without us. DadTok, the DadTok dolls, don't play with us. But anyway, getting back to Miranda and Layla, one thing I like about these two is that they're getting ahead of their storyline. There's a lot of baby daddy stuff in the mix. Obviously, we know Chase, who was very much disliked, and who is Miranda's baby daddy, was on the show. He went on a date with Taylor, and now he's still in the mix with the dads, and brought his brother on the show, who was now dating Layla, and then Layla also dated Chase at one point. It's just a whole mess, child. And they're both aware of what those two are bringing to the show. If you're not bringing to the show that you're here to be baby daddy, show good image, but you're more likely to go hang out with Jordan and go to Europe and act a fool. I mean, if I was given a trip to Europe, I would have went too. The ladies went. But I'm not about to be delusional and act like, oh, what happens on a trip stays on the trip and blah, blah. You're not married to me. You are not married to me. This is a check for you. Some exposure. And after this, you're packed up. And Miranda is 100% right about exposing misogyny and how some of these men are utilizing these ladies' platform to get a lot of clout, baby. When in reality, it just makes you look like an ass. Never assume that this is going to work for you. Because what does assuming do? Makes an ass out of you. Not me, baby. And Layla and Miranda are ahead of the curve on that. So I appreciate those girls. Loving the story. I love the fact that they're more vocal this season. I was missing out with those two. And it's always the ones that are kind of learning the group, or who are more reserved and more quiet, who have no problem checking a bitch. One thing that I will say, Taylor has one more time to come out of pocket at Miranda. Girl. Miranda and Shania are friends. So if something needs to happen, but look, Don't act like the games need to be played constantly, Taylor. You know damn well that she wasn't about to stand up for you more than her friend. First of all, it wasn't even about standing up. It was about the fact that you about to go on Bachelorette. And what had happened was Shania and Dakota hooked up, who Shania is a friend of the show. But Shania was all in Taylor's face, apparently, and trying to be friends, whatever. Taylor, okay, you know what kind of man Dakota is. This is why he needs to be scrapped. And I spent a lot of time on Taylor, so I'm not going to keep going back over that because she keeps getting on my nerves just by the thought of this whole mess. Okay? And what she subjects herself to. Learn something from this, Taylor. Learn from Miranda. Learn from Layla, Chad. I will say the other girls that are standing out to me include... Who else do I like? I like Whitney and I like Jessi. And there's one more girl I like. I actually like Demi. They can go ahead and bring Demi back. They can go ahead and bring Demi back because they're running them up. And they know that Demi, I think, unpopular opinion, I think the group knows, as opinionated as Demi is, she's just that girl who's going to say it like it is. And I feel like some of the girls don't like that. And I feel like sometimes, obviously, Demi goes too far. So do I. But so do y'all. Everybody talk shit. So go ahead and bring Demi back to the show because we need to go ahead and remind Taylor that you're not about to be out here embarrassing the girls. And it's definitely given an I told you so moment. Where everything that's happening with the tabloids, with Taylor right now, squabbling her opportunities with the Bachelorette, it's giving Demi was correct about Taylor from the get-go. And y'all need to stop playing with her. So, what's up? Is there anything y'all need to say? Oh, okay. I thought there was something that needed to be... Let's get into the rest of the girlies. So the rest of the girls in the show obviously include Whitney, and she's having a great season. I will get to Whitney in a minute, but I want to save Whitney for another episode because Whitney's one of my favorites and one of the stars, and I think she deserves a longer segment of me just talking about how much I appreciate her and Connor. What I will say is that Connor and Whitney are my favorite couple. Whitney came into this being like, this is an opportunity, baby. What are y'all doing? What are you all doing? Yes, she was shady with the, I didn't go to hurt this and I didn't do that and boom, 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 I'm going to start my own mom talk. Who want to say that if they're on the outs? I love that the girlies came together to support Whitney. And I will say, I was watching the show and yes, Whitney was very transparent about coming back to the group to move to LA basically to get started on Join This with Stars, boom, 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 wow, 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 okay, whatever. She got the opportunity, why y'all mad? And I need Jennifer to not be that mad and worry about what's going on with her husband. Because, girl, you're worried about what Whitney has going on. Meanwhile, you squabbled your opportunity. You're not the better dancer. That's just what it is. Okay? And you can put your guilt for wanting to potentially change up the dynamic and lean into your fame from Dance with the Stars and potentially becoming an actress and all that stuff. And then taking it out on Whitney with the jealousy. Connor supports her. If Zach doesn't support it, Zach needs to be wrapped up. If Zach doesn't support you, Miss Jennifer, he can be wrapped up. We already struggled with Zach the first season. Remember? First 2 seasons. Zach was not the T. And then he switched it around last season, showing his support for his wife. Now he moved over there. It's always these conservative men when they're taken out of their environment and they experience life and they move over to a new environment and they realize it's more hustle and bustle. Or when they become stay-at-home parents, have to take the back seat, they get all mad about it. Get it together. That's the misogyny that Miranda was talking about. Learn something from this, Zach. That's what I need to say about that. Now, I love me some Michaela, and I love me some other girl. Sometimes what's her name? Mackenzie? Michaela and Mackenzie? I don't know. Michaela and Mackenzie, the one with the book. Who's the one with the book? Macy. That's her name, Macy. Okay. Before we get into the Macy and Michaela of it all, because I do think they're needed for the show, but just go ahead and take a listen, baby. I can't.
Yeah, I think it's tricky in this environment because I also need a lot of support from him going through all of it. And so it's kind of one of those things that we're still navigating, and it still has its ups and still has its downs. And unfortunately for me, it's like I'm stuck in this place where like my health is out of my control, and so I feel like I can't get anything else in my life under control once I have that under control. So it's kind of just with time and patience, and yeah, I think it's something we're still working through, and we're still going to be working through for a while. It's like I'm having to figure out, is it my house that's making me sick? Is it Utah that's making me sick? And so I feel like there's a lot of that frustration that's weighing in on me right now, like a lot of anxiety and stress that way of, okay, do I have to remove myself from my home, from my marriage, from the state? Like, what do I have to do to heal myself? And yeah, I think that's still something that I'm still very much in the thick of. I think trauma honestly plays the biggest role into why I've gotten to this point, because I haven't been listening to my body for so long, and that's why it got this severe. I mean, it would be nice if it would kind of, pick up and get I'm like, all right, I see you. I want to heal you. Come on. But no, I've been doing a lot of like allergy testing, and the guy I went to said that one of their spouse was allergic to the other person's semen. I've heard that before. And so I wanted to take it, like maybe get it tested. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's tricky in this.
Did Miranda just sit up in this interview? What's her name? Michaela? Did Michaela just sit up in this interview at US Weekly and say potentially there might be something wrong with him? That's why I'm breaking out. No shade, but she said, look, she has to do investigations. She doesn't know if it's Utah. She doesn't know if it's her husband. She doesn't know if it's the air, the house. She said it's just over with. And I don't blame her. My take on this is, Jace, if you're just not for her, you're not for her, and she can make that decision. Okay? Okay? And don't act like you're breaking up with her over intimacy issues. The intimacy issues falls down on you, sir. As someone who also struggles with a lot of health conditions, I completely get it. And whose partner struggles with it. My husband struggles with some health stuff too. With some skin issues, all that kind of stuff. But what we're not going to do is sit up out here and act like it's not for better or for worse. If you love your partner, you're going to do what it takes. The intimacy will happen. Support me, bitch. Support me. It's what she's saying. And if Jace, the only thing that's on your mind is sex, that's a different story. I'm not trying to get in nobody's business, but there's a lot of couples that break up over the intimacy thing, and I never really found that as something that I needed to take into consideration. But I'm happy that Michaela is like, well, I have to take this into consideration because my health comes first. And if you're not up to par, you need to rap. I would gladly stay at my friend's house. We can have the kids go back and forth, stop playing with me. The check is ran, Jace. That's what Miss Michaela was saying. Now, here's the thing. I love me some Macy. I think Macy's a nice girl. I think her husband seems like he's nice too. Sure, whatever. Macy's, she's just the shy one. Her and Michaela were the shy ones as well. They're all a little shy. Like some of the girls, some of them were a little nervous when the show first started. I feel like, I don't know how Macy, she says something. She's like, oh, I just feel like now's not the time. And a few of the other girls do that too. I'm not trying to say that some of the other girls don't do that when it comes to confrontation. I've seen Layla do the whole, I don't think now's the moment, blah, 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 blah. But I do feel like Macy is very non-confrontational, but that can bite you in the ass, okay? Because we can confront Jessi at a table at a sit down and be like, oh, I didn't know it meant that much to you. That could have been a phone call. Stop playing with her. And Macy, you know that. And I'm going to need your husband to start helping out more and be more solution focused instead of telling you what to do. You are correct. I need these men, these DadTok men, or whatever y'all want to call them, the husbands, to realize that the women are the one footing the check. You have to adjust. Happy wife, happy life. Or I will hang you up. And I believe that that's what they have the ability to be like, if you're not up to par and meeting my needs, you can go. Now, vice versa. I'm not saying that you shouldn't not please your man or whatever, but last time I checked, they're footing the bill. They're trumping the bill. Trumping the bill. That's what they're doing. And I believe these two husbands right here, I don't know if they're going to be around forever, considering these ladies' trauma and what they've had to endure and how these men know their stories and how vulnerable these ladies are being on camera by sharing their business. They should be a lot more supportive than what I'm seeing. Okay? And I feel like if you don't want to be hung up, get it together. Because you know these ladies can do whatever they want. They're stars now. They can move on and find them a man. Duh. It's a new era. And I feel like a lot of men are all about that misogynistic stuff, especially from red states and from very conservative religious backgrounds. This is not only exposure for the ladies, this is exposure for what options are available, baby. Because I don't have to subject myself to this Mormonism, these Mormon values. Mormon is the culture that these girls belong to, okay? I will say with the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I want to see more background story. I love what we got with Taylor and her mom, going back to that town, I think it was Colorado Springs or something, child. To go back there for Taylor to learn more about her biological dad. I'm very happy that her mom was appreciative of it. I thought Leanne was about to throw her table, child. But now you figure out that Leanne doesn't like talk about that man because he tried to ruin her life. And the best blessing she got from that man was Taylor. Okay? So, I will be getting into the girls. These Mormon wives are doing what needs to be done. This is the new era. The Kardashian days are done. I'm telling you, interest looks are going to elevate. Gigs are going to start coming through. Opportunities are not even, like, done yet. We're going to be seeing a lot from these girls. So, put y'all seatbelts on. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, or should I say, the messy life of Mormon Wives? Oh, yes. I'm sad. Thanks for listening to another special episode of Clock the Reali-Tea. This is your host, Mark Midwestern Honey, and you know I bring it to you fresh, all the way from Wisconsin, talking about the girls up in Utah. And next week, we're going to get into a lot more tea, because we got a lot of premieres coming around before Easter, or after Easter, baby. The Real Housewives of Rhode Island and the Real Housewives of Atlanta are just in the pipeline, and we will be getting there. Thank you. Take care.